So, hey, it's a new year. We're in the start of 2026. Some people like to make New Year's resolutions. I am not one of those people. I don't like to make resolutions because I just feel like at this point, they're just empty promises. When you say you're going to do something, then you realize later in the month that you haven't started that, resolution yet. And then you realize it's halfway through the year and you're not even going to bother to try. So, there's not really a point to setting yourself up for disappointment. But apparently, in the corporate media sphere, they're going to symbolically make a resolution to change things up, but they're not actually going to change themselves. So, for example, CBS Evening News got their new news anchor to take over the show. It just seems like a revolving door of just randos that I've never heard of that are taking over these news programs that are losing viewership drastically. So this guy, Tony Dokoupil, I think it's Dokoupil. I think that's how you say it, but it does look like it's spelled. It looks like Dokoupil, doesn't it? Just with the spelling, but I think it's Dokoupil. I think that's the actual name of it. So this guy is taking over the CBS Evening News. And we know that CBS, since it has been bought out by the Ellison family, since, David and Larry Ellison, who are very much astonished Zionist supporters that they're spending their billions of dollars buying up the media, not to make it any better, not to bring back viewership, but to buy up an avenue of information so that they control the narrative and push it out to people. At the same time, when they bought out Paramount, they also took control of TikTok. They're also, trying to get acquisition of Warner Brothers away from Netflix. They're also trying to buy out other areas. So you know exactly why they're doing this. And you know exactly why they chose a figure like Barry Weiss as the news director of this once reputable organization, this once company, the home of Walter Cronkite and Dan Rather and, many other figures that were on this beforehand, to now denigrate itself to a guy like this. And you'll see why in a second. So, in particular, CBS News tweeted this out on January 1st. So, this is their big announcement. This is their big New Year's resolution. January 1st, they tweeted out this. On too many stories, the press has missed the story because we have taken into account the perspective of advocates and not the average American, or we put too much weight on the analysis of academics or elites and not enough on you. That changes now. The new CBS Evening News starts Monday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern on CBS. So they're trying to butter people up with this drastic change of getting this new guy to fill in for the CBS News anchor position and make it seem like some drastic change is happening without actually doing any real drastic change to the journalism quality. This is virtue signaling. This is showboating. This is you making an empty gesture because we know that CBS News being bought out by Larry Ellison, and we even know before it was bought out by Larry Ellison, they never did this, which is why their viewership kept tanking, why they were losing many, many viewers away from legacy media and going to independent media. And now a lot of independent media is sounding more and more like legacy media because they're bought shills. And the thing I did not understand, and this is coming from me as a podcast creator myself, is if you're going to be in independent media, if you're going to start a YouTube channel or a Rumble channel and parrot everything that the mainstream media is spewing down people's throats, why are you even on the internet? That's the thing I don't understand. Why are you on the internet if you're going to spew the same garbage that people like him are going to spew? Why not just go work for CBS? Go intern for MSNBC or whatever it's called now. Go intern for CNN. Like why are you on the internet then? What's the point? What's the point of you calling yourself an independent content creator if you don't have an independent mind. But that's for a different story. So they had this video. They had this little presentation to show you the new CBS News with this guy, Tony Dokoupil, or Dokoupil, whatever his freaking name is. Doesn't even really matter at this point because who's going to watch it? But this is the big presentation, the sales pitch that they're trying to bring viewers back.
A lot has changed since the first person sat in this chair, but for me, the biggest difference is people do not trust us like they used to. And it's not just us, it's all of legacy media. And I get it. I get it because I've been hearing about it from just about everybody for more than 20 years as I've traveled America on this assignment or that. My mom's neighbors in West Virginia, my own neighbors in New York City, thousands and thousands of conversations in between. Sometimes people want to talk to me about our coverage.
I love how they, sell the idea like they're a traveling circus. Like, oh, I went all over the country and I talked to people, Virginia, New York, and neighbors of my mother's, neighbors of my friends, this town, this community. We talked to so many people and we understand the concerns that you have for CBS News. Really? You understand why people are upset at legacy media? Really? Does that mean you're going to actually change? Are you going to actually do some soul searching? Are you Tony Dokoupil or Dokoupil, whatever his name is? Are you going to actually look at this and have an internal resolution for you to actually be better? No. So this is already garbage. And keep in mind, this is a presentation. This is not him in his kitchen. This is not him in his car. He's not doing a selfie with his iPhone. He's not pitching this himself. He's pitching for CBS News. He's in a newsroom. He's got the CBS Evening News logo at the corner there. And anyone that knows anything about newsrooms and news presentation, I graduated from broadcast production. I toured around newsrooms. I know how they operate. He is the talking head that's reading off a prompter manufactured by executives of the network, by calling up advertisers to make sure that advertisers still keep coming to CBS. There's productions crew, there's assistants, there's writers, there's producers, there's editors. So this is all just a big, giant show. That people have already caught on that this is an obvious lie. This is obviously a lie. They knew how bad CBS was before. It's gotten worse. Which again, that was the point of Larry Ellison buying CBS, was not to make Paramount, not to make CBS better. It was intentional to buy an avenue so he can control the narrative and shove it down people's throats. That's why. Because CBS is a large enough market that he could spew whatever Zionist propaganda down people's throats, and some people might notice. Maybe not a lot, but some people. Anyway,
of NAFTA or the Iraq War. Other times it's all about Hillary Clinton's emails or Russiagate. Or more recently, COVID lockdowns, Hunter Biden's laptop, or the president's fitness for office. The point is, on too many stories, the press has missed the story. Because we've taken in.
The press has missed the story. This is his excuse. The press has missed the story. No. You guys didn't miss the story. You purposely propagandized people. You purposely epitomized against your own audience. There's a huge difference between missing the story and conducting vicious lies against people. That is what CBS News, ABC, New York Times, Wall Street Journal, that's what all these people have done. They didn't miss the story. What are you talking about? Oh, we missed the story. Oh, oopsie. maybe we should have told more people about, certain things about COVID. No, you intentionally lied to people. You intentionally lied to people. You didn't miss the fact that ivermectin is actually an award-winning drug and was used to treat cancer patients and is actually proven effective when it comes to infectious diseases. You didn't miss that story. You purposely lied to people and told them that was horse paste. CNN made a fake phony video attacking Joe Rogan. That's not missing the story. That's you intentionally lying. That's you intentionally misinforming the public because you want to control the narrative because you're bought out by the big pharmaceutical lobbies. You're bought out by the Zionist billionaires. You're bought out scum. And that is why no one has respect for you. And the fact that this guy, I traveled around the country, and I get it. You guys don't trust us. It's 2026. It's after all the years of Russiagate, after all the years of COVID, after the years of Ukraine war, after all the lies, all the laundry list of lies, 2026. Now you're going to pull this out of your ass. Oh, now we really feel bad about, not telling the whole full story. Give me a break. Give me a break. There's a reason why people come to YouTubers, people that do podcasts in their basement. They have more trust for them than this. Okay? I'm not doing a production. I don't have, I'm a one-man machine. I'm a one-man band. This is just me talking about me. I'm not telling people because my advertisers are telling me to read a script. I'm not a talking head. I'm not a corporate whore. Wow. Oh, we missed the story. No, you lied to people. If you missed the story, you wouldn't have said anything about ivermectin. You would have just moved on, ignored it. But no, you purposely went out of your way to villainize people that brought up ivermectin. Same with Charlie Kirk. Same with Joe Biden's laptop. Instead of just saying, well, we don't know exactly about this laptop, we can maybe investigate that. No, you came out and said it was Russian disinformation. Missed the story. Oh my God. What a slap. That's a slap in the face to people that still watch the evening news.
To account the perspective of advocates and not the average American. Or we put too much weight in the analysis of academics or elites and not enough on you. And I know that.
Or maybe we know that the corporate media sludge machine is bought out by the worst people you should be investigating. Okay? When you're talking about COVID and every single news segment is brought to you by Pfizer, that is concerning because Pfizer is a big pharmaceutical company. And you're talking about COVID as on a segment that is brought to you by a pharmaceutical company. That is complicit. That shows you that's a conflict of interest. Or when you're talking about war and you're brought to you by defense contractors. Oh, it's just a coincidence that we're advertising a Boeing 737 jet on the Sunday morning programs because, the average blue-collar person is going to buy a jet for themselves. No, it's an open bribe. It's an open bribe. They're advertising to give money to CBS for them to shut their mouths so they won't be investigated. You're bought by criminals. You're bought by the mafia. People already know this years ago. I knew this years ago. But here we are. Now they got to make this big giant show.
It's because at certain points, I have been you. I have felt this way too. I felt like what I was seeing and hearing on the news didn't reflect what I was seeing and hearing in my own life. And that the most urgent questions simply weren't being asked. So here's my promise to you today and every time.
By the way, did you ever go bankrupt because you didn't have health care? Did you ever have to choose between food and rent? Did you ever have to pay off huge amounts of student loans and not get a job afterwards because the job market is going after and discriminating against eligible Americans to hire a bunch of foreigners? Are you one of those people? Or are you just another schmuck from Park Avenue who hit the lottery because he's a good little stooge? Oh, I can read off a prompter and look good in a suit. Like, it's honestly insulting. It's honestly insulting that you can watch these people and they call themselves journalists. It's insulting. It's insulting. And I know people say, well, in their defense, they went to journalism school and they got graduate degrees in journalism. Yeah, that doesn't mean squat. That doesn't mean squat. Anyone can be a journalist. Anyone can be a journalist. See this? See this? Camera, phone. That's pretty much what it takes to be a journalist these days. You go out, you find a story, you capture, you record it, you write down evidence, you analyze, and you report back to people. That is how you be a journalist. Not that hard. It's not rocket science, people. Anyone can be a journalist. But it's insulting when a schmuck like him, or Rachel Maddow, or Anderson Cooper, or any of these other nimrods, just because they wear the fancy suits and get on the corporate networks and, oh, they look intelligent. They went to the fancy Ivy schools, so why would we ever judge them? You know, Anderson Cooper and Rachel Maddow are gay, so why would you discriminate against them? They're not journalists, they're puppets. They're stooges, they're actors. They read off a prompter manufactured by a whole chorus of team that's being paid to lie to you. Whereas me, I don't have a prompter. I'm just telling you what I'm observing. This is journalism right here. I'm telling you what I'm seeing here. You don't have to agree with the opinions I have, but I'm telling you what I'm seeing and reacting to it. That's more journalism than you're going to get from CBS Evening News or any other of these outlets.
You see me in this chair. You come first. Not advertisers, not politicians, not corporate interests. And yes, that does include the corporate owners of CBS. I report for you, which means I tell you what I know, when I know it, and how I know it. And when I get it wrong, I'll tell you that too. It all
Really? You mean how you got COVID completely wrong? You didn't apologize to people? You just told people to move on. You told people to move on from COVID. After many people lost their jobs. Many people lost their small businesses. A lot of people got screwed over from this manufactured pandemic. Oh, no, you just got to move on from it. Even some of my friends, when I mention about COVID or bring something up, move on from it, Jason. That was long ago. Yeah, tell that to the person that lost their entire life, their businesses, their family members, people that got screwed over so hard during the go and tell them that. Oh, just move on. That was a long time ago. You sound like Joy Behar when, interviewing Bernie Sanders. Yeah, I don't know why you're bringing Iraq. I don't know why you're bringing up wars. That was like a long time ago. Just shut up. Wow. Oh yeah, we correct the wrong. You've got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me. If I say something wrong, not on purpose, but by accident, I get hunted down by many, many people. But they just get to move on. Oh, I guess, we should have questioned the science. I guess people should have been okay to do their own research. Maybe consult actual doctors who are not paid by the big pharmaceuticals. God.
Also means I'm going to talk to everybody and hold everyone in public life to the very same standard. After all, I became a journalist to talk to people. I love talking to people.
No, that's what talk show hosts do. That's what talk show hosts do. That's Jerry Springer. That's Ricky Lake. Oh, I'm here to talk to people. So why not just do a podcast then? Talking about book clubs or Harry Potter. Oh, I'm just here to talk to people. That's not a journalist then. That's not being a journalist. A journalist is going out and finding information and telling people that information. Yeah, it's not rocket science. It's not rocket science. You don't need fancy degrees. In fact, people that go to journalism school, they don't become journalists. They're trained and brainwashed to be propagandists. That's what you're doing when you're at journalism school. If you want to be an actual journalist, go out. Go take your phones, take cameras, take whatever you got, and find a story. Find the stories, tell people, and report what you found. Simple as that, folks. Simple as that.
About what works in this country, what doesn't, and not only what should change, but the good ideas that should never change. I think telling the truth is one of them. I'm Tony Dokoupil, the anchor of the CBS Evening News.
So, yeah, that was their New Year's presentation, their resolution. Things are going to change, ladies and gentlemen. Not really. Not really. But it's going to look like change because I'm the new face of it. Wow. What a freaking joke that is. And just to bring this up, I thought this was kind of hilarious. So, I didn't know much about this guy. I really didn't know who this man is. Apparently, he's been at the network for a few years now. But I did see this, and I thought this is absolutely hilarious. So, the New Republic, Tony Dokoupil, that's apparently his name. I know it's spelled like Dokoupil. I really want to say Dokoupil, but apparently it's Dokoupil. So, he wrote this in 2014. My adult circumcision. How I made the cut for my new religion. So this is a write-up he did for the New Republic about how he, as an adult, a full-grown adult, I think he was in his late 30s, maybe his 40s when this happened, he got himself circumcised. He got himself circumcised as a full-grown adult. And if you think it's bad to watch a little infant getting that procedure done or a little baby, imagine being a full-fledged adult with actual functioning brains and understanding the procedure and the measures and feeling the pain. Like, a lot of people don't even remember if they got circumcised. They don't remember because it was, you were an infant. You really didn't know what was going on in the world. Imagine as an adult. That's crazy. And the reason he did this is because his wife at the time, and I say at the time because they're separated, his wife at the time, when they were going out, he was raised as a Catholic, and she is Jewish Orthodox. Jewish or Jewish Orthodox, I'm not totally sure exactly which one, but in that direction. And in order for him to remain in a relationship with this woman, he had to do this procedure. He had to do this procedure in order for him to remain in a relationship with this person. So he went and did it. He went and did it as an adult, had kids with this woman, and later on, this woman, his wife, left him, took the kids, and fled to Israel. And is now a self-proclaimed Zionist savior for Israel. She's like one of those Joel Osteen type televangelists to save Israel. So that's the story behind this. And now I kind of understand why they picked this schmuck to be the head of the evening news. Just like how they picked Barry Weiss to be the news editor. Is it because they're actually competent in their jobs? No. It's because they know how to play ball. They know when to sit for their masters, when to say the right thing, and be the good stooges that they are. That's why. Tony Dokoupil, apparently had his own honeypot. And this is what it led him to. But he gets to play anchor on the CBS Evening News. So this guy, Peter Twinklage. Oh God, that's a funny name. Complete and utter incompetent on display during Barry Weiss and Tony Dokoupil's first weekday primetime broadcast. Remember, Dokoupil vowed to be superior to Walter Cronkite over the weekend. This guy, the guy you just saw doing a sales pitch for CBS News for just more fake, phony lies, is saying that he's going to top Walter Cronkite. Just unbelievable. Again, this is a slap in the face. If any of these people call themselves journalists, that is just a slap in the face to what journalism is. That's a slap in the face to Walter Cronkite, for God's sakes. The difference between someone like him and journalists from back in the day when news actually mattered is because those journalists used to be blue-collar jobs. You know, when you were a news anchor, even at a top-rated network, you didn't have a penthouse. You weren't making, $5-10 million per week. You weren't wearing fancy suits. You were with the people. You probably lived in the suburbs with the same neighbors of electricians, factory workers, car salesmen, insurance agents. You lived in the same neighborhoods as the people until corporate media got bought up by these monopolies, and now you got billionaires, these tech bros, goobering up the media, 1/6 of the entire U.S. media, and they get stooges like this to completely lie to you because they don't want CBS News to succeed. They want CBS News as an avenue to push the narrative. So here is Tony Dokoupil, Dokoupil. This was his first broadcast. And let's see how well this goes.
Atmosphere. With Maduro now out, that base of power and influence could be out too. All right, to other news, as you just heard from Jill. Well, to other news now, to Governor Walz. No, we're going to do Mark Kelly. First day, big problems here. Are we going to Kelly here, or are we going to go to Jonah Kaplan? We're doing Mark Kelly, possibly demoted from his retired rank of captain in the Navy. Hegseth issued what's known as a letter of censure.
Oh my God. Oh. The only thing that would make it more better is I thought he was going to do like a Bill O'Reilly, we're doing it live. F it, we're doing it live. I'm sick of this. If he pulled one of those, that'd be great entertainment. But oh my God. Wow. Well, I hope that large investment, I don't know exactly how much the Ellison family paid to buy Paramount, CBS, and put Barry Weiss. What a great investment. Well, I guess it is for them because they just care about, pushing the narrative. They don't care about production value. You might as well just get farm animals to run the program, for God's sakes. Wow. I gotta see this again. This is hilarious. So, this big announcement, we're going to change. We're going to be better than Walter Cronkite. Turns to this.
With Maduro now out, that base of power and influence could be out too. All right, to other news, as you just heard from Jill. Well, to other news now, to Governor Walz. No, we're going to do Mark Kelly. First day, big problems here. Are we going to Kelly here, or are we going to go to Jonah Kaplan? We're doing Mark Kelly, possibly demoted from his retired rank of captain in the Navy. Hegseth issued what's known as a letter of censure for the Arizona Democrat over his participation in a video that called on service members to defy illegal orders without specifying.
Oh, man. I know CBS is called the Eye Network, but did they actually use their eyes when they conduct these news programs? Oh my God. Yes. Oh, Walter Cronkite must be smiling in his grave right now to see what a schmuck a guy like him is doing to journalism. Yeah, we're going to be professional. We're going to look at all the angles. We're going to talk to more people. Wow. Really just showing the best. Really showing the best. Here's this guy, Mike Singleton. So, after that, it seemed to get a little bit better, but a lot worse when it comes to what they're actually reporting about. So, by the next few days, they did an entire segment dedicated to Marco Rubio. I kid you not. Marco Rubio, we salute you. This is so cringeworthy. Tony Dokoupil, the new CBS News anchor, new CBS Evening News mega anchor, devotes entire segment to gushing over Trump minion Marco Rubio. Of course they would. Of course they would. Just like every single news outlet gushed over what was going on during the Iraq invasion. Remember, they made fun of George W. Bush. They used to have comedy sketches. But as soon as we went to war, as soon as the war profiteers pushed their money to these networks, the gush fest started off. The circle jerking finally begun. And now that Trump is bombing Venezuela, kidnapping Maduro, they're enjoying this. They're loving this. And Tony Dokoupil, the man who says he's going to change things around, is doing the exact same mealy-mouthed garbage that every other single news anchor that does a show like this is going to do. Because it's built by design to go against you and to be there to be the mouthpieces for their donors. That's what corporate media is, ladies and gentlemen. That is what it is. And it's because they hire these schmucks and because there's so much money funding into deceiving the people, not investigating. They're not funding the journalism. They're funding people to shut up. They're funding the cover-ups so that a news anchor cannot actually investigate what's going on. And that's where you get stories like this.
Tonight and only in America, the many lives and many jobs of Marco Rubio, the son of Cuban immigrants and a former Florida senator. He's now the face of U.S. foreign policy and President Trump's point man on Venezuela, all in addition to his roles as Secretary of State, interim national security advisor, and acting national archivist and USAID chief.
And corruption, money laundering, his brother was a narco-terrorist. He's part of a narco-terrorist family that smuggled cocaine in and out of Cuba into Miami. Did they mention those parts? Did they mention the whole story? I thought you weren't supposed to leave out anything. You're supposed to tell us the full story. That was your big announcement on New Year's Day. Oh, of course they're not going to say that. It's so just insane. It's so insulting. And for people to still consider CBS as liberal media, I love when people still refer to like, oh, there's a difference between MSNBC and Fox News. Yeah, they may cheer on for different political parties, but in the end, they do the same garbage. It's all the same exact corporate system. Because CBS News that produces 60 Minutes used to do stories all about the drug trafficking that was done by the CIA. They used to do countless stories. When 60 Minutes was the top of the top and actually did great journalism. It was the #1 show for people to turn to get real insights. They did hours and hours of investigative journalism on where crack cocaine was coming from, where the fentanyl was coming. They used to dedicate. They know all this. But because Larry Ellison is buddy-buddy with Trump, he got a big, fat, $500 million loan from the Trump administration to push AI and mass surveillance, and he used that money to buy out CBS. They're gushing over Marco Rubio, a guy that they should be investigating. They should be held to contempt. They should be saying, hey, Marco Rubio, why are we bombing Venezuela, assuming that they're bringing drugs in the country and not prosecuting, I don't know, the drug traffickers that are already in the country? You know how many illegal setups, you know how many cartels are running in remote areas of California and Texas and Florida and other states that we know about, that people have pointed out for years that they've done nothing about? That's because the feds are the cartels. They're the biggest group of cartels in the world. But they're never going to tell you that ever again. You know, CBS News used to produce 60-minute segments. 60-minute segments that reported all the garbage that they told you for years. The war on drugs, completely fabricated. Because they were the ones that were bringing drugs.
Whatever you think of his politics, you got to admit it's an impressive resume. And now AI memes have added to that portfolio, casting Secretary Rubio as the new governor of Minnesota, the new Shah of Iran, the prime minister of Greenland, the new manager of Manchester United, the head of Hilton Hotels, and highest of high honors of all, the new Michelin man.
The highlight of great journalism is pointing out all the AI memes that people are posting on social media. This is such a joke. This is such a joke. Like all the years they dedicated their time to focus on Trump's tweets, instead of, I don't know, the actual politics that affects everybody. You know, like what a journalist would actually do. Wow. If anyone's still watching CBS at this point, Godspeed. Because clearly you are suffering from severe brain rot. If you still think that CBS, watching all this, if they still have what little reputation they have, if you still think they're the most credible source in comparison to actual journalists that actually do the work, you are just absolutely delusional, stupid, ignorant, willfully dumb, completely brainwashed, completely mind-controlled. This is insane. This is garbage. That they're dedicated to say, oh, Marco Rubio has an impressive resume. And look at all the fun memes that people are doing. Hey, by the way, we're destroying a sovereign nation on an assumption that they're bringing drugs in the country that we have no investigation to prove. And we know that it's completely fabricated because CBS News published and reported that the drugs are coming from the CIA. Jesus. So, here, someone did this. This is on Instagram. So, talking about memes here. Someone did this. They threw this up and said, read some of the comments here. It says, I grew up on Cronkite. Too bad CBS has lost its Tiffany shine, but good luck to you anyway. Brent Mack says, unfortunately today, even Cronkite would be labeled too woke by many. Yeah, I'm sure they would. Because at this point, too woke, it used to be you would go against the, DEI narratives that came from BlackRock which I'm completely for. I'm against, all the initiatives that BlackRock and these NGOs have plastered onto companies and plastered onto people as just a virtue signaling hack. Like, I'm for, calling that out. But now, being too woke, because it's been hijacked by so many criminal elitists, being too woke just means you have common sense. You have common sense. Oh, they're doing a genocide in Gaza. Oh, you're so woke. No, I just happen to see on live TV that they're bombing, killing children. I could see it right on my phone in 4K. That's not being too woke. That's being observant. So Tony Dokoupil actually comes to respond for this. Again, trying to cover for CBS News. He's not doing this for himself. He's doing this for the network. That's why they put him in the head of the CBS Evening News. He said, "What I did you love most about him, I can promise you that will be more accountable and more transparent than Cronkite or anyone else of his era." Yeah, just a goddamn slap in the face to journalism, to news, to anyone with common sense, to anyone with a functioning brain cell. Like, Tony Dokoupil might as well jump out of your television screen and take a leak on you. Because it's just that embarrassing. It's that ignorant. And the worst part of it is they're doing this purposely. It's intentional to be this dumb. They're not doing this because, I missed the story. No, they're purposely lying to you, deceiving you. They're completely misinforming you purposely. Which is why people are pissed off. Here's this guy Zonker. Everyone is insane. Says Tony Dokoupil is journalistic fraud. He brought on Portnoy on to whitewash him. He knows how to have a hostile interview when it seems to but we've seen it, but who is to he kisses up to. So he had on Dave Portnoy to basically defend him. You know, Dave Portnoy, as you can see here, Insider reports 3 more women allegedly sexual misconduct against Barstool's Dave Portnoy, who now vowed to sue. And we know that Dave Portnoy, even though he does, fantastic pizza reviews, has abused his own employees. That's proven fact. There's legal action of former employees that are suing Dave Portnoy, and they have criminal evidence against him. But because Dave Portnoy is part of the Zio Club, and Tony Dokoupil is not going to question it because he's complicit to the Zio Club, they're going to give them a tongue bath. They're basically going to make out on camera, which is not what journalism is. And Barry Weiss, who is the head of all this, who is the head of the CBS News Department. This is the genius that they brought to take over this already failing network, and their intention to make it better, when their whole intention is to get someone who is easily manipulated, like Barry Weiss is, as you're about to see here. She can be easily duped, easily put down, easily just ridiculed because of how intellectually dumb she is. They can ridicule her to control this outlet to push a certain narrative. So let's not forget that Joe Rogan called out Barry Weiss when she was an editor at the New York Times, because Barry Weiss was trying to make an insult about Tulsi Gabbard, but she didn't know what the insult was. And Joe Rogan, who just asked simple, mild-minded questions, easily exposed what a fraud and a hack she truly is. Let's just remember how this went.
Kirsten Gillibrand. Oh, monstrous. Monstrous? Ideas.
Well, when she was 22, she had...
No, she's an Assad toady.
What does that mean?
She is
What's a toady?
I think that I used that word correctly. Jamie, can you check what toady means?
Like toeing the line? Is that what it means?
No, I think it's like a... Toadie.
What does that mean?
I think it means what I think it means.
It's like a
Toady,
CIA
definition of
talking
toadies.
point. It's like
a
something
person
A
who
sycophant,
flatters or defers to others
I
for
kinda used it right.
self-serving reasons.
A sycophant.
So she's an Assad sycophant.
My-
Is that what you're saying?
And the irony is, she is the biggest sycophant. Hence why she's at CBS News. Hence why the Ellison family hand-selected her. Not because she's capable, not because she's competent, not because she has the intellect, but because she's a sycophant for their cause, for the greater Israeli project, for Zionists, for the death cult of Zionism. That is why all this is happening. And they would rather kill CBS News in the and basically slap Walter Cronkite's legacy and make it into a shit show for that intention. They're all sycophants. All of them. And people easily could see that. Easily could see that. Because how bad they're even lying to you. It's so obvious.
Yeah, that's known about her.
Like, what did she say that,
We have to look.
qualifies her?
I don't remember the details.
We
I've read
probably
it.
should say that before we say that about her. We should probably read it, rather.
Well, I have read it.
No, I mean, we should right now.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Just so we know what she said.
Look up
I've had her
Tulsi
on here
Gabbard.
before.
Look
and
up
I really
Tul-
enjoyed talking to her. I like her a lot.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I like talking to her.
Okay,
I like
okay.
talking to her. I don't know about...
I think she's like the mother lode of bad ideas.
Whoa.
So that is the head of CBS News who got on Tony Dokoupil, and that's why it's the hellfire that it is now. And it's just, it's self-imploding on itself. It's self-imploding on itself for this obvious reason. Obvious reason. There's no way they brought her on to think that we're going to fix CBS News. We're going to fix this dying network that barely had a pulse to begin with. Bring on someone like Barry Weiss to revive it. No. No. They don't care. They don't care. They don't care about the ratings. They don't care about the reputation. They don't care about the legacy of people like Walter Cronkite or 60 Minutes that used to be actually reputable. They don't care about any of that. They care about taking that avenue, that market that CBS delivers, and taking control of the narrative to push that specific agenda onto people. That's what they're doing. Because they know that there's CBS outlets all over the place, all across America and elsewhere around the world that they get shoved down people's throat. Why do you think they're doing this at the same time they're making such a big deal about social media? Social media. Oh my God. People are on TikTok and they're watching people dance, and that could lead to China taking your data, and that's why we got to take control. Oh yeah, it's about China. It's not about the fact that, hey, people on the internet might actually have some insight better than this dumbass or Tony Dokoupil or any other the mealy-mouthed BS corporate propagandists, the stooges that go on television for an hour at a time and make a six-figure salary for basically lying to you, deceiving you. It's just so blatantly obvious. And it's really just insulting that this goes on. They just allow this to keep occurring, and they just tell you to believe it, take it in, or you're a conspiracy theorist. You're a nutcase. You're deranged. You think about turning the channel and going to, Jimmy Dore or me or Kim Iverson or Do Dissidents or any of the other people out there. You're an idiot for doing your own research. You're an idiot, according to these pathetic liars. This is why news media is tanking. And all this is going to do is drive more and more people away from legacy media. It's not going to drive more people in. They're not going to tune in and be like, oh, is he going to be like Walter Cronkite? No, it's going to turn people even more away. You're throwing more people. You're basically setting CBS on fire at this point for doing this. You know, they've made lies in the past, but it is not as bad as it is right now, and it's only going to get worse. And it's because of just how obvious the sham really is.